Nikki Glaser here on the Rich Eisen Show. So I am mandated to ask you, what is the moment like with your boyfriend when you see him after you mentioned you would shoot him in the face for getting a lottery ticket to
a lottery ticket to please Tom Brady.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah, just to the chance of, we don't even know what kind of lottery this is, how many people are just, that joke to me was so funny. He was actually there. My boyfriend, we were at this brunchin' at Ted Sarandos' house.
Nice.
Of Netflix, the president of Netflix. We were at his house the day before the roast, and all these comedians are there, hundreds of comedians, and Jimmy Carr is there, who is one of the best joke writers going. He's he's done roast before.
Yes,
he's written for people on roast.
Didn't you say a joke at the Rob Lowe roast about what Jimmy A. Carr is?
Yeah, Ralph Macchio was on the dais as well, and I said Jimmy A. Carr is what Ralph Macchio is going to have to do tonight to find a place to sleep. That was one of my favorite jokes I've ever written. But Jimmy is one of the best, and I went up to him and I had sent him my set to be like, hey, will you give this a once over and any punch up you have or any suggestions? Because he just is devastated. He doesn't pull any punches. And he told me some other things to say that I said, I will never say that. He goes, he really was like, you got to do the one. I can't even say what it was. It was so horrible what he told me to say. But this one, I had a bunch of jokes about wanting to bang Tom Brady and kind of throwing myself at him. And he goes, what if you had a moment where you almost seem like you're going to propose to your boyfriend, like a really sincere moment, and then you say, I would shoot you in the face, and he presented it first, and I was like, oh, that's a nice idea, but that's exactly what I would want to do, but I can't do that. And my boyfriend's sitting there, and I go, I can't. And he goes, you should do it. And I go, really? Like, my boyfriend was like, I go, you wouldn't care? And I was like, really? And he was like, no, it's a joke. And I go, yeah, it's a joke. Yeah. This is all fantasy joke. Yeah. But he was so encouraging and getting his permission, because he's awesome in that way that he lets me talk about him and our relationship and anything. He says, as long as it's funny, you can say whatever you want. Now, I get into some rough territory if I talk about him and it's not funny and it's just like a story where I'm complaining and stuff. But if I make it funny, I can say whatever I want.
So as long as the comedy is good,
yes,
you're green lit? Yeah,
he really cares about my career and
that's great.
And having me be successful and being myself. And he's just like, as long as it's, because the thing is, if it's for comedy, you can always have plausible deniability.
Yes, because I think a lot of people would shoot him in the face to get a lottery ticket with you, Nikki.
Yes.
Is he aware of that?
I think he is. He knows what he has. He's really, and that's why he's so cool. I think he's like, not a lot of guys would be that cool, and that's one part of him that I'm like, I got lucky finding a guy who's that secure to handle all that. I mean, I've talked about everything about him, because
that line was crushed, and that was the big finish.
So fun. It was so fun to deliver. It was so scary to deliver, because I just, Jimmy and I had just written it the day before, so me kind of working it out that night. And Tom isn't there when I'm running it at the Comedy Store in the belly room. And so when I'm doing the joke about, I would shoot you, my boyfriend's not even there, in the face to even a lottery ticket to this, and I'm pointing at nothing. Like, it works, but it's like, if it doesn't work, I'm like, I should still do it because it will work if he's there, but you don't know. It's like, nothing in my comedy career has ever been this level of difficulty of the unknowns. I'm very someone who I like to know what I'm getting into. And that's why not many people do it. I'm very lucky that I'm someone who's not scared to do it, because it's a great spot to be in.
You're outstanding at it. Thank you. And of course, Tom Brady is not in the belly of, what did you say, in the belly club or something like that?
Yeah, the belly room. I was like, where is Tom working this out? But he was on his jet. I talked to his manager. He's like, Tom has been practicing so much. I mean, Tom Brady did. He didn't mess around. And Jeff was telling me that I have to be up I'd see Jeff at the Comedy Store. I got to be up at 6 a.m. because I got to meet up with Tom. That's when he starts, man. This is a different thing. So
he'd get Jeff up at 6 in the morning?
Yeah, man.
That's a wake and bake for him. By the way, this is where Tom is now. I'll put it up on the screen. There he is.
Venice, right?
Look at Tom in Venice.
Yeah. Good for him. He needs to get away. They haven't watched it yet, right? Over in Venice. So yeah,
I don't know.
He's good on him. That whole story of Giselle being disappointed and him having to apologize to her. I wonder what he knew or what he thought we would and wouldn't say, because there was not a mandate of not to say something. And I've said it before, we all kind of agreed, let's not go after the kid thing, the kissing thing or what,
right.
Let's not make jokes about that, which was such a bummer, because I wrote so many jokes about it. It was such a bummer. But I understood it because the kids are not a part of it. And even the Giselle thing, I was like, she's not there. And even saying her name, I tried to say ex-wife as much as possible, not to put her name with things, but you can't say it for every joke. And so, when I read like Giselle is disappointed, I go, yeah, fair. I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah, right.
I'll eat that one. I am sorry.
Well, again, it was a great night. I mean, when you hugged it out with him on stage, what did he say to you?
He said, great job, great job. And then I ran into him. It was kind of blacked out at that point, but I remember getting a feeling that he wasn't like, there was no undertone of I'm mad, like upset or anything. It was really like, great job, thank you. And then because I heard, and maybe I was lied to, but he picked me. Like, I remember when I found out about the Tom Brady roast, it was announced before I got booked on it. And I was kind of done with roast because it had been 5 years since I'd done it. It was pre-COVID. I was younger. If you called me old, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. It just I just feel like I'm too sensitive now for it. And so I was like, if another one comes up, I probably won't do it. But then it's Tom Brady, and I was like, no, that's too big. I got to do it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you did, because it's one of the biggest pop. It's iconic. It's part of the iconography of pop culture. It truly is in terms of roasts, in terms of everything. There's the Hugh Hefner roast from back in the early aughts when it was really important at the time for our country to start laughing again. And I kind of feel like, in the same way, obviously it's totally different circumstances, that we do need a certain laugh and a certain like being able to poke fun of one another in as much of a safe space as you possibly can. And somebody like Tom Brady saying, all right, I'll make myself the butt of jokes on live Netflix for 3 hours. It really was something that I couldn't believe I was personally witnessing.
Yeah.
And the place was just electric, and you were awesome. And
thank you.
And you're finding out, like, Todd Bowles, the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is a fan of yours, and I'm sure people
he hadn't even seen the roast yet. He was just like, I'm a fan of Nikki Glaser. I'm excited to watch her clip. And I'm like, wait, you didn't even see it? How are you a fan of mine? It was so nice.
We saw your mind-blown emoji right there.
I really...
And he's not known for, having an edge.
No, I ask all my male friends that obviously know of him. I'm like, what's his vibe? And they're like, this is not his vibe. Being a Nikki Glaser fan is not something we ever thought of Todd Bowles would be. But I'm so flattered, and I want to go to a game. It's really nice to be in this new world, this sports world that I've always felt like intimidated by and that I didn't understand. And now in doing the research for the roast, and also honestly being a Swiftie and her dating Travis, I have to care about football and started paying attention and learning to like love it in this way that I never have. So it's so cool to have this moment.
Have you met Taylor Swift?
I met her before I was a huge fan, and I'm staying away though. I want her to want to meet me. I'm just going to keep my distance.
That's going to happen.
Yeah.
I know you've met Trailer Swift. I know that.
Yeah, I called Jewel at one of the roasts Trailer Swift.
Trailer Swift.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.